Greetings ladies and gentlemen, Adrian here, welcome back to the channel. It's good to be back in my workstation, I suppose. I had to work somewhere else because part of my table kind of broke and I had to replace everything. But I'm back here today and we're going to be talking about Rift Prime. This is the vlog for week number 4 now. Wow, time really flies. Has it really been 1 month and more since I jumped into Rift for the Prime Fresh Start Progression server? It has, and look, over the past 7 days and beyond, honestly, what I've been doing on Rift on my Cleric that I've been leveling Guardian side has been pretty much the same thing that I've been doing from week 2 onwards, and that is basically trying to get to level cap, because as a fresh start progression server, you know, the game truly opens up in this case at level 50. I'm currently in a Oceanic raiding guild, and where a large majority of the members are already level 50 and are farming expert dungeons and are starting to do or not starting, they've already been farming those 10-man dungeons to get a certain currency, to get those highly coveted raid gear from vendors, which apparently won't be there anymore. So I'll talk about that later on. And yeah, so basically I'm in a raiding guild, and the pressure to try and catch up is, you know, not put on me by them, more on myself, because I do want to at least try and dabble in some of that end game stuff, because beyond that there's really not much to do on the Prime server. And I am well aware that, you know, in all my leveling reviews streams, or all my reviews, I only get to cap and I see what's happening at 50 or whatever the cap is from the outside window. I don't actually take part in the end game grind, because that is of course a long progression thing, and I do want to move on to different games to review them from a new player perspective. So with Prime, I'm gonna try and do that. I'm gonna try and dabble my feet a little bit into the end game stuff and see how that compares to live, maybe, and see what all the fuss is about, because you know, just seeing my guild's chat and everything, so many people are talking up the Rift raids, which I never played in or never participated in, even when it, you know, on live servers when the game launched or whatever. Like I said, my live characters back in 2013 never reached beyond level 30. Anyway, for the past 7 days or so, again from the last stream, I completed the Drawlands, which is the 40-ish zone or 39 zone, and I've made my way to the 2 level 40 to 50 zones, which is the Shimmer Sand and Stillmore. So I'm kind of questing in both of them concurrently, because that's what you got to do to get that XP gains and progress some of these quest hub crawls along, because unfortunately with Rift, if you hit a certain quest hub where you're 2 levels lower, you know, compared to the landscape mobs or the NPCs, unfortunately, you will not see the quest. So that kind of just stumps you out, like, oh shit, am I in the right place? Did I lose a quest or whatever? That happened to me quite a lot, and I had to use like a few add-ons and some quest database for Rift to make sure that I was on the right track, and it ended up being, you know, I don't have the necessary levels, so gotta come back later. The benefit of having 2 zones that are of the same questing level range is basically you go progress some part in Stillmore, and then come back and do some Shimmer Sand and vice versa. And it's a pain in the ass, I gotta admit. You know, this particular late game questing to get that experience points is really slow. And you may have heard me say this on stream or in the past week and everything, but that is truly the case, and I've seen people talk about that a lot. And the truth of the matter is, this is a fresh start progression server where the XP gains have been tweaked, you know, in comparison to live, and it has to do that. It wants to keep you, Tron Worlds wants to keep you playing Rift Prime for as long as possible, because when you get to cap, unfortunately, there isn't a lot of content. That's the whole thing about progression servers. It is to bring back old players and potentially new players and try and experience Rift slowly. And it is a subscription-based server, so player retention by making you, you know, grind your way up is common, or it's necessary, I should say. I just am having a hard time dealing with that, because I've never been a part of anything like this before. So that's primarily what I've been doing, really, just getting XP through dungeons, through PvP, through these questing. And I've seen a couple of players, including one of my subscribers here, said that, you know, one easy way to get more XP I'm at level 46 now, so one way to get more XP, trying to get on to 50, is to actually change your faction and go and do the opposite, or your new faction's quests in all the previous zones, so that way you're going to get all the XP. And just to give you guys a clue, I'm at level 46, and I need about 3 million XP to hit level 50. I think that's, if my math is right, that's exactly the XP pool that I need. And at 46, every quest is giving me, landscape quest is giving me about 11,000 XP per quest completion. Mob kills are about 442 XP per mob kill, without rested XP. Dungeon completions are about 22,000 XP per completion, and PvP is about 12,000 XP per win. So that's what you're looking at level 46. It is incredibly long, which is why I'm like, the whole idea of just buying a faction change token, which costs about 2,000 gems or so, which will cost you about 10 or 12 USD probably, is starting to become really attractive to me. If I could just pay that 10 bucks and go to another faction and, you know, get all that XP by questing, if I don't want to do dungeons, if I don't want to do PvP, then that's viable. But you gotta give it to Tryon, you know, that is a way for them to make money. And they're very clever about that, you know, kind of charging for that service as well. So there's that, really. I really don't have much to report about, you know, in terms of what I have done in Rift, because it's the same thing. Grinding dungeons, the same 6 or 7 dungeons over and over again, PvP matches, and then just questing the landscape. I guess I could talk about questing a little bit in those two zones, Shimmer Sand, Steelmore. Steelmore is another kind of werewolf, you know, Lycanthrope questing area, similar to Gloamwood, but, you know, it's progressing the Rift overall narrative a lot more. You got the Elf War cult in there again, and you're starting to see a bit more about the other kind of elemental or plain dragons that Rift has as, you know, antagonists, and how these cults want to awaken them, all part of Regulus's, like, general's plan, or you know, that kind of thing. So that's been a pretty interesting zone. The other place, Shimmer Sand, has been pretty... I like Shimmer Sand because it reminds me a lot of Ilona, the Crystal Desert, if anybody plays Guild Wars or Guild Wars 2. Shimmer Sand reminds me a lot of you know, the Crystal Desert, because it's a deserty place, a vast area, lots of fun little quests, and the story there isn't that bad too. So I'm kind of enjoying those two zones. It's just the back and forth between those two zones, you know, or it's just, you know, detracting the experience of actually fully enjoying a zone, because as soon as you get into an interesting quest chain, then you follow that lead, and then you gotta stop because you don't have the XP to, you know, pick up the next quest. So you go to the other zone and then progress that. So it's been all over the place. You know, somebody commented in my videos recently saying that questing in Rift, especially the levels, are not exactly coherent, and I will have to agree with that somewhat. On live, it's obviously going to be so much more different, because, you know, they don't have that experience that we do, the slowed down leveling and everything. But people are still doing it, I guess. You know, endgame is a very attractive prospect on Rift Prime, so you gotta say, yeah, it works to a certain extent. And speaking of live servers, look, there's been a lot of discussion in the Prime chat, you know, of people saying, oh, I've come from the live and free version of the game, and they're super thankful for the Prime server, or to the Prime server, for bringing back a population. Apparently the live servers are now way more active than it was maybe months, you know, prior to the Prime server launching, and that's a good thing. And overall, you know, that's, I would say, a positive sign for, like, fresh start progression servers of any kind for MMORPGs that are in the classic category. We've seen now that it works. It's worked for not Conan Exiled, Age of Conan on the Saga of Zap server. It's worked for Rift Prime. ArcH are now trying it, and WoW Classic is coming. So I could make a future discussion video about, you know, just fresh start progression servers in general. That's at a future date, but for now, I guess it's safe to say, you know, I think any game company that has an MMORPG that's been around for that long, that have been probably that are struggling trying to get some players back, I think this is one now today a tried and tested way of bringing players back. And that's it, really, folks. I've really got nothing else to talk about because all I've been doing is leveling, and the pattern for progression hasn't really changed, so I've got nothing to report about. So stay tuned to the channel. In a couple of days will be Sunday, which means a brand new leveling stream, and I want this to be the final stream. The things I don't think I'll be 50 by Sunday even, because 3 million XP is probably going to take me another week to achieve that, unless of course I buy the faction change scroll and go and quest again the entire Defiance side of things. Maybe I'll do that, maybe, I don't know, still undecided at this point, but probably one more stream, 2 more streams, and then I guess I'll be ready for Blast Online when that comes out on Steam, and then the Elder Scrolls Online expansion, Somerset Isles. So hey, hit the like button for Rift, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I cover all kinds of MMORPGs, kind of scattered right now in terms of, you know, what videos I make for the different MMOs, but you should see more variety coming really soon. So once again, Adrian here, thanking you for watching. Roses are red, violets are blue. If you want to watch more videos, click on these cards, anyone would do. And if you want to watch more videos, subscribe to the channel with the button down here. I know you want to.